What are we jamming on now? What are you jamming on now, Jay?
In the non-VR section of our show, still playing Hades. I mean, I beat the game, completed it, got the full complete
Really?
ending.
Oh, you're an
Yeah,
animal. You're an
dude,
animal.
multiple escape attempts, and the story. Like, first of all, the final aspect of each weapon changes each weapon to something so different and so cool. It keeps you coming back, and then the story obviously was good enough for me to keep playing, and getting that completion is one of those like highly gratifying moments, like so good. And even after it's done, like the way that it's done, and I won't spoil it here, adds more replayability to it. So like I'm good. I can easily stop right now. I can continue a little bit. But yeah, it's absolutely fabulously done. I highly recommend completing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to, maybe keep something on the Xbox just to support retro gaming in some way, shape, or form.
Nice. Yeah, so pretty much just that, and then ESO, with Courtney from time to time finishing the latest Reach DLC zone before heading into Blackwood. So that's always fun to do. I do kind of miss being a part of an active social guild there, but I don't really have the time to really devote to that kind of stuff again.
We can create our own active social guild in Demeo. Okay?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, yeah. Plus, my focus has clearly shifted to Dimeo. Clearly, what you see here, amazing freaking game. Oh my gosh! I was thinking
Do
as I
you
woke up
even
this morning.
quest, bro?
It's like a card. It's like a live board game in VR, and it's like, okay, I'll put it like this. I think we've talked about before the fact that Courtney tried to VR the PS4 VR once. She got kind of dizzy playing this really intense VR thing. She was like, "Oh, I can't do VR ever since that." I'm like, "You could try different things." You actually got into one of the most intense things,
Right,
and it just kind of threw you off. Yeah, like you have an experience, and so
I've only
because
played Doom. Well, that's not exactly
representative of the sample.
the full range of possibilities. Yeah.
Exactly. But because you and I have played this several times late, and all of a sudden she's like, wait a minute, you're sucked in. She's like, this morning, she's like, let me kind of experience, let me see what it's like. And so I put the VR on her, let her go into like the home screen, let her draw the boundary, like give her the full like startup
Yeah.
experience. And she's like, whoa, cool, look at this background. And so she navigates the Demeo, gets into a one player skirmish, and I just kind of tell her the directions, and then all of a sudden she's off running. And before
And then she's checked
before,
out for the next
before
4 hours.
dude, walk in here, she's like, so what if we ordered, instead of that Nintendo Switch, that one and an Oculus, I could play with you and Amy and Fullen. And I was like, uh-huh, I see how this goes.
Yeah, that's so
So
good. It's wild how there's only the only two campaigns right now, and I mean, and granted, maybe you could maybe we will tire of those. I don't know. I've only been playing it for a couple of weeks, but the replayability, despite the fact like the map is the same, the actual physical structure of the level of the dungeons are the same each time through, but obviously the inhabitants of the dungeons change, which and the location of points of interest and where the door is, where the key is, yada yada yada, on each level changes each time. So that mixes it up. But I'm just surprised at how I don't know how replayable it is, given how little variance there really is, how little physical variance there really is. So yeah, it's wild how I don't know. I
it
mean,
feels
yeah,
different
it's
to
just like
me
a board
every
game. It's
time.
just like it's the same reason you can get out the same board out of a box and play whatever the hell's going on there
Mhm.
is well transferred to the VR, and obviously the VR environment is cool as fuck.
Like the fact that you just said the board is the same every time, I'm like, false. It can't be. Like it seems different to me every time we play.
It is.
So
It's
I
you'll know like it's like I've noticed it that it's pointless how I figured it out. But yeah, you once you play it enough, you'll be like, oh yeah, this is because the room is the same. There's a few rooms that are very, very distinct. Like level 2 of the Black Sarcophagus campaign, there's like this room with two. It's like a long room, and it's got two little balconies on each side, and it's just like a very, very distinctly looking room. And like, I played it a few times, and like no one told me this. Now I played it a few times, and I was like, damn, that's the same exact room. That's crazy. And I was like, wait a minute, it's the same way into that room. Like, holy shit, it's all the same. It's just shit's in different places. So I'm sure it would be a lot to randomly generate that every time. I'm sure. So I get it, and I'd rather them dedicate development time to entirely new campaigns than randomly procedurally generated existing campaigns anyway. So like no complaints about that. It's just, I'm surprised at how much it can still engage you no matter how many times you play it, at least so far. Yeah, it's really good.
For sure.
So what else have you played on there?
So I actually bought Beat Saber yesterday, or 2 days ago. Bought it a couple of days ago, and yeah, I played it at GameWorks for my birthday when you guys flew out here to Seattle, and so seeing it there is just as amazing and even better, because I'm not connected to something like I was at GameWorks, and so I'm gonna let Zion play that after. She's super excited to play it. It's so good. It's so good, man.
Yeah, I would guess. I mean, like I said, it's not. I don't think it's something that I would dig, but it's it's insanely rated. Every time I see a list for this thing that's on there, it's got to be pretty good.
Yeah, I've also played. I mess around with the Rec Room a little bit, which it's so funny. Like they have this archery thing, which is so fun. Like it seems like the control seems so reactive, like better than I thought it would be. Like any kind of game that I've like better than I've played with like a Wii, or not the Wii, but like the Switch or something like that. Yeah. Like just so reactive, and I kept wanting to do it over and over again. So that's really fun as well. But I've only kind of dipped my toe into that. I know there's much more to be found there, but yeah, it's so far.
The physics in that mini golf game are just, it blows my mind.
Yeah,
how good they are. It's so good.
Obviously, walkabout mini golf, that is so fun. Like I definitely want to play more of that. Like it's funny because on the PS4 VR, I would play the golf game there, but it's a driving range, and that's fun for me. I liked it, but this, like the walkabout, is so much better. Like I prefer putt anyway, but just the play of it, just the physics of it, all of that, it's so much fun. So I'm kind of like, man, am I really gonna have to get a second VR headset for Courtney and slash the family, so we can
You're probably gonna end up with 4 of them, Jay. It's probably what's gonna happen.
Like I'm not gonna buy games that have on other platforms. So I have Vader Immortal in the PS4 VR, at least the first or second one. I gotta see, maybe both. But I know I don't have the third one. But I'm not gonna buy those again on this one, but I might get the third one on this, because that one's so fun.
I didn't even know that. I thought these were all. I mean, I guess if you're talking about this fucking Star Wars thing, of course it's gonna be everywhere. But I don't know. I don't think of this platform as having much overlap with any other system. I mean, I'm sure part of that's just because it's VR stuff, but also I just feel like these are there's a lot of indie developers, there's a lot of small developers, a lot of the games are like. I mean, I just saw. Was it Walkabout? Maybe it was Demeo. I just got an announcement in the Discord for one of these 2 games last night that it just popped up on Steam. So it just became available for, on Steam. So like that, like it came here first. You know what I mean? So that's like, because it's so successful here on this one unique platform, it's being transitioned wider. You know what I mean? So like I feel like this is a very, very natively driven developer base. If that's the fucking term. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, like it's almost like, it almost feels a little bit like rinky-dink, and kind of like I'm a little scared it's not gonna last because it's not being supported by the AAA title developers. You know what I mean? that's where all the money gets made, and that's why, you know what I mean. But Facebook is a lot of these games. I've listened to a few. I started listening to this Rough VR podcast. It's pretty good. Been interfacing with the guys. We're gonna schedule a walkabout mini golf game. They said they're cool as fuck. I was listening to another one too. That's more of kind of just like a VR news podcast, or Oculus VR news podcast. They were saying, fuck, I totally lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? Why did I start talking about that? I started thinking about playing mini golf with those guys and just fucking blanks out.
Talking about it. It's awesome on the
whatever.
VR.
Yeah, I don't even know what the hell I was saying, but the point is, like, I'm a little concerned about like whether or not it can last, but you know, it fucking. They were saying that Facebook is developing a lot of the games in house. You know, like a lot of
Really?
a lot like the Beat Saber, all these are, maybe that's like that was in the arcade, so that's developed by someone else. But a lot of these games, I guess, are being developed in house at Facebook, so they are like really pushing making this work with in-house money, and that's probably what's keeping it afloat right now. Is a lot of their like $30 AAA titles are self-made. You know what I mean? So
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, and Facebook's got money. I'm watching their fucking I'm watching their fucking stock ticker every day, and they got money. So I guess if they're supporting it, we'll be okay.
Yeah, as long as that works, man. Because it's so good. One good signal is that the Dimeo Discord new players pop up like every day. It seems like, that I've joined. So like,
dude, it's that. I mean, that's part of what.
Hopefully,
Dimeo,
more and more people are coming.
Yeah, Dimeo is so cool. Yeah, I mean, because I will. Like you started playing, Amy got a headset, but like before that, either of those happened, I was in there. Like I just pop into the looking for games Discord, pop a room number down, or just look in there and find one. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, finding a game, it never had to wait more than 5-10 minutes to get either someone to come to my game or to find a game that I want to join. And I've played games and friended people, and we've sent messages and like to play again. Like, yeah, it's really cool. I'm surprised. Like, I got a note here. Like, I've made fucking friends, bro. The first new male friends I've made since like 2004. Like, I've made a bunch of them between Demeo and Walkabout Mini Golf, and it's crazy to me because I am just like complete social shut-in for the most part. It's hilarious to me how, like, I don't know, personal it's become of an activity.
For sure, man. It's nuts. I had the same thing. Like even yesterday, like before we played, earlier in the day, I took like a break from work and jumped into a quick match, and I was having a
break from
great
work,
time.
a 2+ hour break from work to play fucking a Demeo campaign. It's not like a fucking game of mini golf. What do you mean a break from work? Like, you stopped working for multiple hours and played video games. It's not.
Hey, I work in video games, and I work late often, so it works out. But no, I jumped into a game with these guys, and it was so social. I expected it to be a lot more like we're down the business, but like everybody was new, and everybody was just kind of like, "Hey, I just came over from D&D. Oh, how does this work? Oh man, okay, let's work together." It was so collaborative and social, and it was just like, wow, this is kind of like it felt to me, honestly, being in the guild in ESO at first when we first started playing that when I was a noob, and everybody who's playing was a noob, and it was all just like, hey, let's learn together, let's figure this out, this is fantastic.
Every time I play a game with someone new, every time I learn some little nuance. Like the guy with the last night that we were playing with that told us about the arrow and spell fucking search thing. Like that's every time. Yeah, and like I was playing the other night. I think you were in that game where we were playing with a guy who's level 45 who's clearly played fucking a million times and had no idea that you could tilt the board up and like make it essentially vertical so you could lean back and play without having to lean over, and he was like, holy shit, and like, so it's amazing that someone who's played that much can be taught something by my ass on level 9, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's really cool and very collaborative. Yeah, it's really fun.
I have not taken the time to friend people. I should have. I've just been jumping in and out pretty quick. Obviously, playing with you guys has been the epic long sessions, but But at least last night we were victorious.
Yeah, beat the Raccoon. Yeah, that's the first time.
Wow.
That was hard as shit. We got lucky, dude. We got really lucky because the key. Amy pointed that out. I think that the key and the door being right by each other, or the key and the start rather being right by each other on that third level was clutch. Because if we'd had to search around there, we didn't have the card inventory to like kill a bunch of other dumb shit, you know. And I mean, I guess you know, a whole bunch of shit certainly converged on that area once we started battling with it. So maybe there wasn't a ton that we missed enemy wise, but still, like. I think that could have been much. And the second level, we got the hell out of there and didn't really engage a lot of that level two because the door and the key were right by each other. So we got pretty lucky, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely like had like the best usage of our weapons and cards. I feel like, you know, dropping bombs on the oil lamps and just causing mass explosions. Like we did what we needed to do, you know, the most effective ways. And it was just like, I need more cards at the end. Like, I don't know. I can't do more damage than this.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, I kind of thought the card thing would annoy me.
At least for me.
Like, I thought the card thing would be, because it's like limiting, you know, it's like a very limited way to play a fantasy game like that relative to standard D&D stuff where you kind of you can do anything, you know what I mean? Whatever you decide your character is going to be, that's what you can develop and that's what you can have available to you and yada, yada, yada. So I thought the card stuff would bug me a little bit, but it doesn't, you know, it's partly because I got play with the same class and the classes do have class specific cards. So it's not like you're just dealing with whatever random ass cards come to you, you know? So you can kind of develop because you can spend the money in the shops and you can acquire what cards you want and kind of focus on the things that you like and use well with your level, with the way you play. So, you know, it has more customization capability than I expected with that style of play. But yeah, it's fucking great. It's fucking great.
Yeah. Have you played any other classes in that game yet?
Yeah, I started with the sorcerer, but I've latched on to the assassin, dude. I like the sneaking thing and like, yeah, I played with a few assassin types who like, you know, it allows you the opportunity. You're inclined to stay together and stick together because that's obviously the safest way to approach. But with the assassin, you have the opportunity to stealth off and kind of you can either go do recon and explore, or if you need to like, you know, it's like that little project I went and did with the Gorgon last night, like. You know, you can go off on your own, and you don't need the safety net of the group because you can totally cloak yourself, you know, and that's a really cool. It adds like a really unique style of play or opportunity for style of play that I really like, you know. So yeah, I really like that thing. But yeah, I fucked with the sorcerer a little bit, and like I played a skirmish yesterday where I had I think I mentioned via text, like it was 2 assassins and 2 hunters, so I was, you know, playing with the hunters too, and that's cool. Get the extra card. The range stuff is cool. The line of sight, strategy is really cool. The thing like you're constantly trying to get to an advantageous higher position, and like, you know, you can fucking tag something on the other side of the dungeon if you got the right thing. You know what I mean? So like, you know, you got to it forces you. The hunter forces you to, I think, to be more aware of the whole board. You know, and that's kind of cool too. So yeah, but yeah. The only thing I haven't really fucked with is the tank.
I think I might actually try a tank. I don't know.
The way you fucking play, you should. Yeah, you play like a fucking tank with a sword.
I'm used to
barging into rooms.
Honestly, I think it's because I'm used to being like an ESO wizard where I'm so high DPS wise that I just rush in most places.
You're not a Skyrim wizard with fucking draconian armor.
Hey, it worked out. It worked out. We succeeded.
In any event,
does not always work out, but
so Beat Saber, Walkabout, and Demeo. Anything else? And Rec Room? Anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it so far. But it's funny because this morning after we talked, Courtney started sharing me another list of other Oculus RPG games and dungeon crawlers and stuff. She's like, "What about this one? Have you tried this one?" I was like, "No, but I will now that you pointed me in that direction."
You got plenty of favorites. You got plenty of games favorited that are in my quay. I played a fucking shit ton of Walkabout. I started playing multiplayer, and that's actually how that injury I posted the picture of happened. I got too excited trying to show some dude like where on a wooden block to bounce the ball off of, and the Cherry Blossoms hard course. like how to do a ricochet to make a thing, like where, and like I got so excited to share this information again, going back to that communal thing. I just ran up to the block and like totally forgot about my guardian and ran my fucking shin right into the marble.
Oh.
Like, it hurt like hell, but you're in the headset, you can't see anything, and like, I did that right before my shot, so I just went back to playing, and like, I can kind of see right out of the very bridge of the nose, and I just happened to look down at it out of there, and like I saw blood just running down my leg. Like, I was like, oh shit. The guy like had a fucking like bled all over the floor to fucking run over. And the guy's like, "You need to stop." I'm like, "Ah, man, I'll be fine." I just fucking playing through. Yeah, it was hilarious.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, the multiplayer stuff is so fucking cool, dude. It's the quick match thing. It's so quick and easy, and I mean, I'd say it's the quality of player you get can be a little frustrating. People quitting either because you're whooping their ass, or just like people who literally don't know what they're doing, and like that can be a little frustrating at times. But generally speaking, like I said, I've played some games. It's like you do the quick match thing, and you just randomly match with someone, and they randomly put you into either front or back nine on one of the easy courses. So you don't get to choose what level you're playing. So it's totally random. But after you play that, if neither of you quit, you'll go back to the main menu and you stay in the room together. So if you've like struck up a conversation and you're vibing, or the game was good, or whatever the hell it was, you remain in the room together, and you guys can then choose whatever you want to do. You can play a full 18, you can play easy, hard, whatever, So like I played some games where you like, yeah, really good, really close match. It goes really well. The conversation's good, and you just hang out with the person for like a fucking hour and play a bunch of the harder courses or whatever you want to do. And that's really fucking cool. That it's just like it can either be this really, really single serving thing, or this really lengthy fucking head-to-head matchup, so it's really cool how well that's done. And I also, there's that game I mentioned, Red Matter, last time. I just started the USSR inspired first person puzzler thing. So yeah, I mean, like the environmental manipulation mechanics are so well done with the way the Oculus controllers are, these claw things. It's just so well mapped to how they actually work. It's really fucking cool. There was this puzzle where you had to move fuses around in this electrical contraption using an in-game diagram. Like, so you like,
oh wow,
like you find this board, you got to like go pick the thing up, you got to like bring it over, and you're like looking at it, and you're looking at the fuses, and you had to like tinker on this workbench, and then test after you set the fuses up in the little box, test the thing that you were arranging the fuses in this diagnostics thing, and it was just so damn immersive. Like, I mean, I'm like fucking, you like drop the fuse, you're like fuck, and you pick the fuse up, and like it's just so good, man, so good. Really fun story too. I finished that, and I would say it's probably like maybe 8 to 10 hours I played on it, and I was a little disappointed with that length, given the it's got the high watermark price of $30. Like that's the max you're gonna pay for the game on there, at least so far. I'm sure that'll change, but nonetheless, very enjoyable and cool. So I got out of that, and I'd played a walkabout mini golf game with a dude who recommended, because I mentioned the Red Matter VR, and he was like, "Oh, you should play the Room VR, a Dark Matter." The name of the game is the Room VR, a Dark Matter. So there's a lot of matter in VR puzzle gaming, I guess. but so I downloaded that one after I finished Red Matter, and it's set in 1908 London, and you're a detective investigating some weird shit surrounding the disappearance of an Egyptologist. So like hieroglyphics, movies, and shit for puzzles, and it is fucking
okay.
really, really hot and really, really cool.
Wait, what's it called again?
The Dark, was it the Dark Room? The Room VR, a Dark Matter.
Okay, the Room VR. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, really fucking good. I finished that as well. Yeah, that one was probably a little longer. It was had a little more length to it, but really good. Puzzle's great too. Fucking fantastic. And then I downloaded Demeo, and yeah, I basically checked the fuck out of IRL entirely now. I'm Resident of the Oasis. If you're a Ready Player One enthusiast, yeah, I don't think we need to talk about that anymore. And then on the Caveman gaming era front, the Tadpog dudes Tadpog podcast dudes ripped off or tipped me off about the Dodgeball Academia on Game Pass. Have you seen this or heard about this?
Dodgeball Academia. What?
Yeah,
What's up?
it sounds as cute as it is. It's an anime style schoolyard RPG where the battle system is set in dodgeball games. So you, instead of like random, like think just like Dragon Warrior kind of, but instead of battles with enemies, you get in random dodgeball game encounters, and you have a party of 3 people, or the party actually gets bigger than 3 people, but you can only use 3 at a time in the battles. Yeah, you just like, I don't know, it's like, you're like little fetch quests, and like you got to go around, you're trying to help either school employees, or like the whole thing is structured around you're a new student at this school that you ran away from home to go to because you wanted to become a dodgeball, so whatever, or some shit. And they do a tournament
Oh, okay.
yeah, they do a tournament at the school, and like like the back burner, at least how far I am into it, who knows where it goes, but the back burner kind of like main quest is working your way through this tournament. But while you're going through the tournament, you're dealing with your own little personal stuff because you just got to the school, and it's like schoolyard dumb shit, and then you got like some rivalries, and you got the establishment, the players who think they're hot shit at the school already, yada yada yada. So you have all this shit going on to deal with in between the tournament matches, and it's pretty fucking cool. Like the writing is kind of fun and cute. It's not great, but it's not bad at all. It's very anime cartoon style, certainly geared for children. But the actual play style and the intricacy of the dodgeball matches is shockingly good. Like it's not at all just like whip the ball. There's crazy ass moves you get, and like your characters develop and level up and get new skills and shit that change the way they can both attack and defend. There's a bunch of items and stuff that change the way the strategy with which you would want to play based on what items you're either equipping or trying to equip or trying to acquire. There's a pretty good economic system, and it's shockingly elaborate and complicated, or not complicated, but different layers to it than you would expect for kind of like what looks very much like a children's game. So that's pretty cool. I also tried what I've gathered to be since hearing about it and trying it, a highly controversial game called 12 Minutes from Annapurna. Have you heard about
Oh, I've heard that this is very popular now. Like,
this? Yeah,
what did you think about
it's
it?
the same team that did Outer Wilds, the Annapurna.
Oh, okay.
The really highbrow movie studio, or movie production company, I guess I should say, not movie studio. But anyways, it's on Game Pass, and it's a time loop game that all takes place in a 4-room apartment between a couple and a home invader, right? And like all the things that people have been bitching about in regards to it are mostly accurate. I feel like I was like more annoyed and frustrated, which is it's kind of, it's one of those situations where like you have like this little bit of this degrading experience, but it was almost probably intended to be that way, because it's supposed to be frustrating. You're only playing 12 minutes of real time, so each and you're not even getting through it most of the time. The 12 minutes is, I think, if you survive the whole thing, so, or make it through. So yeah, it's like, so like like honestly, the most frustrating thing about it, the doorbell, because you're playing in the loop, so you're just going back through this thing every time, right? And you start the thing, and if it's not the very first time, anyways, you're like, you start the loop like stumbling into the apartment, just having died. You know what I mean? So you're stumbling into the apartment, and you're like your character in the game, and you obviously as the player have an awareness of yourself being in the loop. So like your character stumbles through like, fuck, like, god damn it, like, what now? What do I do? How do I make this work this time? So like it's this really fucking mind trippy game for sure. And that in its own self is commendable, that they it's this incredibly high concept idea. But like every time the invader shows up, he rings the doorbell. So I'm playing this game on the TV, and every time the doorbell rang, it would set Miyagi off. And I was also watching a couple of French bulldogs at the time when I was playing it. So these 3 dogs would just fucking go nuts every like 7 minutes. You know what I mean? So part of that, part of the experience being bad was that, like, god damn, I can play this because these fucking dogs would shut up. And I guess I can't blame the developers for that, but it was unpleasant either way. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I did, I played it the one time and I picked it up again and tried it one more time, I think. But it's like this top-down view, so it looks like shit kind of, and it's like it's only these 4 rooms. It's like the living room, a closet off that, a bedroom, and a bathroom. This tiny ass apartment, and like I don't know, man. And, like, here's the thing, it's Annapurna, so the voice actors it's James McAvoy, William
Oh yeah,
Dafoe.
it's good people. Yeah.
Yeah, but honestly, and this is like one of the big arguments that, like, I listened to this how did this get played podcast, and they did like an hour on it, and they pointed out how, like, you have this incredible cast of actors, but
Mhm.
the way the game works, it's like it's just it's kind of like a logic tree. So, like, the dialogue is all broken up and shit. And this is basically the actor, and like I said, it's top-down view, so there's no actual facial expressions to allow them to emote or anything. So, like, it's like, even with that incredible voice cast, it's still like gratingly bad at times because of the way the dialogue, you're just choosing dialogue, you know what I mean? And then you're getting whatever the pre-programmed response to that is from the girlfriend or the invader. It's very choppy the way that kind of works. And, like, oftentimes, again, because the whole thing is just these little decisions, interpersonal decisions between you and the invader. So, like, on top of, like, failing at things, you're like, the people are saying kind of dumb shit back to you at times, or your options, all of them are kind of dumb. It's just like, it's not open.
Mm.
It does not have enough fluidity to the option sets to feel good, and it's a game that I don't know, just needs to feel better. I think I don't know how to describe it really, but
It needs to
yeah, I
feel
fucked around with it a bunch, and and when I was listening to that podcast, they had a spoiler gate on it, and they were like, I decided, like, I was listening to the spoiler gate, and I listened to, like, their, like, gripes for the first half or whatever, and they're like, okay, we're going to spoiler zone, and I was like, fuck it. They're like, I don't want to play this shit, so I just listened to the rest of it, and honestly, after listening to the whole thing, I'm glad I didn't. Or I'm glad I listened. I'm glad I did
Wow.
it that way instead of wasting my time in the game. But yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. All the fucking all the bitches that people have about it, and, like, I'm not the most, like, critical fucking, I don't really like to listen to critical analysis of things. Like, it's a piece of art essentially. Like, let it go, and whatever it is, what it is. Do what you want with it. But yeah, it was not. It's definitely not worth the aggravation. I don't feel. I'm sure it
Hmm.
probably resonates with some people more than others. But in any
Yeah.
event, lastly, I was on my flight to opening day of the Baby Jesus show in Buffalo last weekend, and I remember doing that I hadn't downloaded the 2022 Tecmo Bowl. It's usually what I do on the flights. I usually play Tecmo Bowl, the new one, like the from TecmoBowl.org, and I realized I didn't have the new one yet, so I was like, fuck. And, like, the second I got home, I downloaded it, and I was pleasantly surprised to find Baby Jesus is on the cover of Tecmo Bowl this year. That's crazy. The fact that the Bills quarterback is getting the cover of games, and I know that's not Madden, but it makes me happier that it's not Madden, actually. Like,
Right?
fuck that.
Like you don't want that.
Yeah, fuck Madden. Yeah, I guess if you want to say that, whether or not the dumbass curse, but just like, fuck Madden, I don't care less. Like, Tecmo Bowl is such a better game to me that I was so pleasantly surprised to find that. So yeah, so I've been streaming that a little, along with I had a Shadowgate Kill Quest stream. I did like 3 episodes on and finished that, and that was pretty fun because we've been talking about doing that, but
Nice.
it would never work for a game episode, so it was kind of cool. So I just wanted to jump in and finish, and I was surprised how much I enjoyed that, and didn't remember stuff, and I had to look a bunch of shit up as I was playing and stuff. Some frustrating, some reasonable, I think, in hindsight, worth looking at. So yeah, so I decided to set up a weekly stream of the season for Tecmo. So basically, every Wednesday at 9 a.m., I am going to stream that week's game, that week's, like, the upcoming game that's going to happen that weekend. So I'm going to play throughout the whole season and actually play a season. So that's
Nice.
pretty. So yeah,
True
but
fandom.
yep,
Transit
yep.
transition to video game format.
Yeah, it's just like a 20-minute little thing too, so it's cool little, setting up some sort of stream regularity to me is a little bit of a difficult thing, but a quick Tecmo game for 20 minutes once a week, like, I can commit to that. So hopefully I can still do it. So that's what I've been playing now. What was that, like 2 hours? Let's go ahead and talk about Super C now.